Risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Mr. Scholar in the Bank himself, Scholar Tarek. What's up, sir?
Yes, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Scholars of Wrestling show, aka the Summerslam Prediction Show. Are you guys excited to enjoy the hot dogs and hamburgers from the biggest party of the summer?
Oh, yes, I am.
Sure as hell am.
Yes.
Sure.
It's been tell you what, it's been a long time coming. The day is finally here. I'm excited.
Brian,
aren't you excited, Scholar Brian, who is our current
Indeed.
Scholars of Wrestling champion, sir?
Get it right, good man. It is the current, reigning, defending, undisputed Scholars of Wrestling champion for at least the next few days or so.
if you're going to get your title right, Brian, make sure you actually get it right. It is the reigning, defending, undisputed Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion. You missed a word.
Shit happens.
If you're going to be promoting yourself like that, make sure you actually get it right.
For at least the next few days, because as SummerSlams go, this is a good thing and a bad thing, because it seems like this show is very unpredictable.
Yeah, Scholars of Wrestling is unpredictable.
No,
You're right in all respects.
SummerSlam is a pretty unpredictable show, which is good, considering last year it was very predictable, very easy to retain a title. Not so this year. I am as confident as I can possibly be going into this, which, quite frankly, isn't very confident at all. And that's a good thing while watching the pay-per-view, not a very good thing for predictions.
Your blood will be boiling like, come on, win. Come on, man, I actually want to keep the title. Come on.
And
I
you
don't
know
want
what?
to just be losing on my first title defense.
And you know what? That is what's going to make this show all the more interesting, as well as the competition for that very title. But you know what? Let's get right into it, because there's a lot to talk about on this card. It's SummerSlam 2018. Here we go. Let's dive right into our first match, starting with the kickoff matches. We've got the B Team versus the Revival for the Raw Tag Team titles. Gentlemen, who do you got?
I'll start this one. When it comes to the Raw Tag Team division, I'll say it's very lackluster. Especially now with the whole story of Matt Hardy slowly on his way out. I like the B Team. I'm not a fan of them being tag team champions right now. And for me personally, I feel like the Revival are long due of winning the tag team championship. So I'm going to go with Revival.
We've got differences right off the bat. This should be good.
This is going to be a great show.
Here's my deal with why I think the B Team is going to win. I'm still on board the fact that I believe that the Authors of Pain are going to be the next tag team champions. And who does it make more sense for them to beat? For me, it makes more sense for them to decimate the B Team. Therefore, okay, I feel like they're gonna I feel like there's still time to roll with this underdog getting victories that they shouldn't be getting ever story that the B Team is going.
Now they actually look like the characters they look like.
Exactly.
Remember Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt? They were all serious mode. Now they actually look like what they've been representing as the B Team.
Exactly. And do I agree with it? I don't like the stupid that they were coming up with during that tag team title match on Raw. Like Curtis Axel keeps writing 3 on his hand, trying to figure out math and all that shit. So I don't like where that's going. Like they're underdogs and they're stupid at the same time. No, there's only so much rope I'm willing to give them with the comedy duo that they're doing right now, but I still think there's legs to this underdog group as tag team champions. And if you're gonna have the Authors of Pain come in and dominate, and once they're done with this Titus Worldwide bullshit, if you're gonna come in and have them be the next tag team champions, my heart says the Revival. I want the Revival to be tag team champions. My head says that the best team to face to be decimated by the Authors of Pain when that time comes is the B team. So, B team it is. It also helps for me that it's the pre-show. So yes. I don't like title changes on pre-shows. So.
Yes, and that is part one of why I am going with the B team as well on this one. Not only is it on the pre-show, I just don't see... I see it as much less likely that a title change will happen on the pre-show, but also just the fact that the B team are actually getting over with this gimmick. And it seems like this is something they're just sort of rolling with for the time being. Again, as much as I would love to see the Revival finally get their shot in the sun, I'm just not convinced that now is the time. And there's going to be another time for either the Authors of Pain or the Revival to take it. But this is not the time I'm...
And do you know how Vince McMahon likes to run shit into the ground? With the B team's getting over. They've got new music. They've got the whether the music is shit or not.
I would only really agree with that, but to the point of the Authors of Pain are actually reaching to that point where since they're constantly losing to Titus Worldwide, their stock is kind of decreased a little bit in my views, where when you have the Revival, if you have the Revival win the Tag Team Championship, how they're saying they're old school wrestling, they are bringing back prestige to the Tag Team Championship, and perfect people who can come up and challenge them is the face side of the Revival, the newly reformed American Alpha. Jason Jordan's just waiting to come back. So how about American Alpha versus the Revival for the Raw Tag Team Championship? And that's how I'm viewing this.
Not a bad prediction. And then again, it also, in my eyes, it depends on who is available and who they've got ready. And because let's face it, when was the last time we've heard from American Alpha?
And when they initially broke them up, went on separate shows, but now they're both on the same show.
And quite frankly, I've been hearing that Jason Jordan's neck injury was worse than once thought. And
I've been hearing they're just waiting for that one moment to bring him back. Yeah. That's what I've been reading.
Yeah.
Either way, it goes back to that second point. Like, even without the Authors of Pain, I'm still not convinced they do a title change on the pre-show. Possibly on Raw, I'm still not convinced.
Yeah. Even though I know we've seen it before, I'm just not I had to go back and forth on this a couple times. But at the end of the day, I'm just not sold yet. Is it possible? Absolutely. I'm just not sold on it in this one right here, right now. Anyway, moving on to our next match, we've got Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm about to say Cruiserweight Classic there. Brian, who do you got?
I will say this. Drew Gulak has been coming along as a bad guy. And I enjoy him a lot. I just don't see the title changing here at all. Whether it's also the fact that this match out of everything on the card is the one that I'm least invested in. And that's on a card with Finn Balor versus Constable Corbin. So that's so if gun to my head, Cedric Alexander retains.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cedric Alexander as well here. Not because I don't care, or I'll be fully honest, I do not watch 205 Live every week. But at the same time, I like both of these guys. So I'm just, at this point, especially since it's on a kickoff, I'm just going to be looking to them and just ready to see a good show. But at the same time, like you said, I'm not entirely sold yet that they're going to be changing this title either. I'm picking Cedric to win.
I'm going in line with what you said, Brian. How you're liking how Drew Gulak is now being pushed as a different kind of heel, kind of going with the submission master in this one. And personally, I feel like it's time for a change. So I'm gonna be the different one again in this. I'm gonna go with Drew Gulak.
That is either going to cost you terribly, or it's going to win you this entire show.
I feel like the pre-show is what's going to decide the Scholars of Wrestling Heavyweight Championship in this game.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
We're only 2 matches in, and this is already interesting. All right, moving on to our third and final match on the kickoff show.
The 2-hour kickoff show.
The 2 freaking hour kickoff show.
Are you ready for 7 hours of... Oh, God.
It's one of those shows.
Unless the wrestling is really good, I'm not fully... I'm like, 7 hours. I'm not fully there yet. Unless the wrestling is bad and it's just finding time to kill... I'm curious on what they're going to do with the Elias performance. Of course, it's obviously
for me. It's like how long is the crowd going to be able to handle 7 hours? Because even WrestleMania fell off a little bit after the 5 hour mark.
I will say though that in my personal opinion, the feeling has been adjusted to the point where they're much longer shows and they're a bit of a marathon, but at the same time, I think they've gotten better at stacking up their cards and balancing it out and pacing it well enough so that the 7 hour show model isn't quite as horrible as it once was. But at the same time, as we'll see as we continue to go down the card, there's still a lot to like here. And it certainly makes for a very interesting prediction show, continuing on with this next match, Rusev and Lana versus Andrade Cien Almas and Selena Vega.
It's
my turn, isn't it?
Though, yep.
Yes. Flat out, I'm going Rusev and Lana, possibly with a interference from Aiden English. I'm not convinced that angle is over. And, that's really all I got to say about that. Cool.
This has been a very interesting feud. It's putting... Andrade Cien Almas on the map. He's actually now getting reactions, which is a good thing. I want the Rusev Day angle to end because there's just so many times Aiden English can just screw up, and I hope he gets his redemption in this one. So I am all now in agreement. I'm gonna go Rusev Day.
I'm not going to sing, but this is our first all in agreement.
All in agreement.
Because Rusev got a win over Cien Almas to begin this, correct?
He did.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ever since then, Selena Vega has been getting one over on Lana over and over and over again. I feel like, yes, Aiden English gets his redemption here, and I also think that Lana gets the pin.
I think so too.
So I feel like this is typical face versus heel. This is gonna be the one where they go the typical WWE booking where the heels keep getting one over on the face until the face gets total redemption at the pay-per-view, and that's why we're gonna have Rusev and Lana win. And all this Aiden English stuff be done. He gets his redemption.
Rusev Day is whole again.
Rusev Day is whole once again. Because if they keep going with that, what does Aiden English do from here if they actually split them up?
Fire on the unemployment line.
Exactly.
Good luck in all your future endeavors.
Exactly, and he's a big reason of why Rusev Day works. So I feel like he gets redemption. Everything is A-okay on their side now, and we have all in agreement here.
We had to have one eventually.